now we'll call on Ms. Bonamici from Oregon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses. Thank you for allowing me to join this subcommittee. I serve on the education, early childhood, but also higher ed, but also on the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology, and spent a long time on the bipartisan AI task force. So I'm really interested in the conversation today. Obviously, AI is reshaping the workforce faster than many employers and employees can respond. It's my understanding that about 1 in 5 workers is expecting to see a major job disruption, and almost all workers are expected to see some of their tasks affected. What's concerning to me is that if this happens without proper education, security, privacy, and guardrails, it's really concerning. I'm actually working on a comprehensive human-centered framework for AI that will strengthen teaching and learning, prepare workers, and address the security and privacy concerns, because responsible AI policy should prepare people for a changing economy, not just blindly deploy new technologies. I'll add anecdotally that I was recently talking to someone who was grading college papers who said there's an extraordinary amount of time trying to figure out if it was written with AI in violation of that institution's rules, and students are really concerned because their professor decided to just give them a blue book test and they don't know how to write. So when we look at the 21st century job skills that have been identified as critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communications, we have to get this right. So, Ms. Goldman, what specific actions can the federal government take to identify occupations most affected by AI deployment, following up on Representative Mannion's questions, and what resources or policies it would be best to mitigate AI-related workforce disruptions?
Yeah. Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you for your leadership on these issues. And, I think first we need to shore up our existing legal frameworks and make sure that we're enforcing the laws we do have on the books, as Congressman Scott was getting at. Right. These are really black box systems that workers lack transparency. They don't know what tools are being used, and therefore they can't challenge them. We need the EEOC conducting systemic and disparate impact investigations, and we need to shore up our labor laws, which haven't been, amended in over like half a century, right? We need new comprehensive laws. I'm delighted about the work that you're doing, and these really need to ensure that automated employment and management systems are fair and are being regulated. These new laws can have things like transparency and disclosure, which almost everybody here agrees is extremely important for workers. They can have right to human review, make sure that we don't have robot bosses firing our workers.
Right. Thank you for mentioning my No Robot Bosses Act, which is bipartisan, HR 6371. If anyone wants to sign on, we invite you. I'm leading this with Representative Moylan and Deluzio, and we're also looking at reintroducing the Stop Spying Bosses Act, which is to protect workers from invasive surveillance.
Yeah, and that's so important. And then just last thing I'll say is we need impact assessments, and I think Mr. Walton has talked about that as well, and make sure that these tools are being tested for validity, reliability, and non-discrimination, and that workers and unions should be involved in that process because they know how they're being implemented in the workplace.
Absolutely. And I heard the example of Colorado, or the governor of Colorado, a former member of this committee, but I also have to say that until there's federal regulation, we spent a lot of time on the AI task force, bipartisan AI task force, but we didn't pass anything. We made recommendations, we issued a great report, but we didn't enact anything to protect against bias, to protect privacy and security rights. So until we do that, we need to respect the states that are acting to protect their states. So Ms. Goldman, what can Congress do to support employers who want to responsibly adopt AI in the workplace?
Yeah, and if I can just note, Congresswoman, how important it is that we do allow states to protect their own residents, including consumers, workers, and children, and make sure that they're able to respond to this rapidly evolving technology. And if Congress does pass a federal framework, which I hope it will do so, it can provide a baseline of those protections, but those protections need to be a floor and not a ceiling.
Right. And with regard to the existing laws, yes, they need to be enforced, but we had a lot of conversations about how do you enforce and where do you enforce? If it's a labor issue, does it go labor? If it's an education issue, does it go to what's left of the Department of Education, assuming that there is a Department of Education? If it's a health issue, does it go to HHS? Is there some separate enforcement agency? So it's not as simple as enforce the existing laws because it's complicated. So I just want to thank you so much for your testimony, all of you, and look forward to the ongoing conversation. I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank the young lady for yielding, and Mr. Sonia, you want to go?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Lee from Pennsylvania is recognized for 5 minutes.